Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge the Lands Forever. Today, I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Roxas map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 here in the north, ending with Team 2 in the southeast. But before we start, I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Even though our players are densely packed together, I want to make sure we have enough time we don't miss any of that early action. So again, we'll start off with Team 1, starting off with the 4-screen player of Bo Hanakakti. Don't know what I just said. Probably in a different language, most likely. Don't know what that means. But anyway, he's going first land as a UEF. He is a 1300, and again, he is in Forest Green. In Barbie Pink here to his west, we have Cringe Man going first land as a Cybran. Hopefully he will not produce a lot of cringe this game, but of course we do not know that until the game gets started. He is also a 1300 in this game. In the west, in glow in the dark, not glow in the, is that glow in the dark green? Looks like Pac-Man yellow, but that is glow in the dark green. It looks very similar to Pac-Man yellow on this map. He's going first land as a Seraphim. It is Red Visimosis. And again, he is a 1500 going glow in the dark green. I do apologize because even if I zoom out, very close to Pac-Man yellow. And it also doesn't help that he's next to the player in Pac-Man yellow, which is RNA going first land as a UEF. He is the highest rated player on Team 1 and tied for the highest rated player in the game overall at a 1700 rating. And again, he is a UEF going first land. Also, Red Visimosis is going second air. To his east, we have Hazor. I want to say Air Razor, but that's not what that says. Going first air as a UEF in Rust, and he is a 1000 rated player, the lowest rated player on Team 1. Air Hazor, I think that's how you say it. And then we have in the east Betaji, Savo, Pokon, or BSP for short, or Betaji. I think I just stick with Betaji. He's going first land. He is in Ruby Red. And he is also a Cybran here for his team. So for Team 1 side of things, for their faction makeup, we have 2 Cybrans, 3 UEF, and 1 Seraphim, meaning there is no Aeon Tech here for Team 1. In the east, the column's already at -3, already on the move at 1.5 minutes in this game. We'll start with the north and try to get introductions on the way before we miss any of that early action. Going first land, it is Beltron going as a UEF. He is a 1500, and he is an Amethyst Purple. To his west, in orange, the color orange, of course not to be confused with the fruit orange, the fruit orange. There, I even messed up my little line there. Going first land as a Cybran, he is a 1500, and he is Wuka. To his south, we have Joker 1534 going first land in the lightish red pink. He is the lowest ranked player in the game overall and on Team 2. He is an 800, and again, he is going UEF. And next to him, we have Kabanoff in, I think, is that Imperial Gray? That is Imperial Gray as an Aeon. He is a 1700, tied for the highest rated player on his team and in the game overall. And he is going first land in Imperial Gray. And to his south, continuing onward, we have Zelby, call him Zelby for short, going first land. He is in Snow White. He is also a UEF here for his team, going second land in the west. And he is the player that Kabanoff is tied for at a 1700. And last but not least, in the middle of the map, we have Han Solo going first land, second air, as well as an Aeon here for his team. Maybe he will shoot first, maybe he will not. We'll have to see as the game progresses, of course. He is in Regal Purple, and he is a 1200. So for Team 2 side of things, we have 3 UEF, 2 Aeon, and 1 Cybran. So while Team 1 has access to the Seraphim technology, Team 2 has access to the Aeon technology, but lack the Seraphim technology. So we'll see how that progresses and which team gets the bump in the terms of that faction bonus. In terms of mass currently still on the map, we have 11,000, almost 12,000, but at this point we'll just round it off to 12,000. Only 1,000 mass per player. That is not a lot of mass to scoop up here in this game. So let's see how the mass point layouts strike. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's not 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Fry Mechs positions. Wow, I'm struggling to speak this game. Apologies for that. So a decent amount of mass to scoop up. There is some mass that will definitely be fought over between the teams. We have a couple in the middle. I wouldn't be surprised to see, one player have a fire base here, one player have a fire base there, and call it good. These ones are pretty close together up here on this upper plateau, and we already see an order out here from Betagy to get a distance build land facility underway so you can start claiming the mexes up there. And in the northeast, these two mexes are very close together, so most likely they will be fought over a lot. And in the east, we can already see Cybran getting a quad facility underway here, trying to pump out those T1 units as fast as he can. So let's go ahead and turn this game back up to 0 speed or normal speed and get on with that early action. We see a transport out from Erene in the west, going to go for that upper plateau mechs, and then go down south for another upper plateau mechs. Set of mexes, and then another set of mexes. They're really trying to be very aggressive here with his engineers, trying to deny eco here for his opponent. We have an air scout here coming out from 2 players from Team 1. We have one out here from Cringe and one out here from Arane, trying to get a nice readout on what's going on. We don't see any sort of transports out from Team 2, so Team 1 has that advantage so far. We do see the comm in the north here for Cybran trying to, again, establish those T1 facilities. Try to start spamming out units. We do have units already on the way here for Bo. He has a couple of strikers and also a couple of snoops to try to get, again, an early warning system. Very useful unit. They provide a decent amount of vision and a decent amount of radar. So they're able to sense things coming. Just wants to make sure that he doesn't get caught unawares. Any sort of run-by opportunities, whatever the case may be. But we have 3 comms kind of headed in a northwesterly direction coming out of Team 2's main base. I'm not going to say base is, because it's essentially just one base with 6 players in it. And we have 3 players for Team 1 as well, so it'll be a 3v3 situation. So we'll have a mini match inside of a bigger match here. We do see 1 comm in the south. We do have a small pond. We might see naval facilities, maybe T2 cruisers, just kind of to sit right here and try to help assist one team or the other. Those transports did drop off those engineers here for RNA, which will give him a huge advantage. He does have a T1 bomber as well to help support, and some interceptors as well. But that will skyrocket his eco here early in this game. He's already at 25. And I wouldn't be surprised if that count goes up very, very quickly. He's already denied, of course, that drop out from Team 2, or at least drop the opportunity for engineers to drop for those mixes. And Team 2 will see that right now, but unfortunately they're a little late to the party there. And Team 1 will have the advantage. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts pumping out some T1 AA guns. He has some engineers so far, and they'll probably start pumping out those strikers and other units. Gun damage remains already on the cards here for Joker. Hasn't fought anybody. Hasn't really seen anybody for that matter, and has decided to go for gun to either fight or protect himself one way or the other. We see Kavanaugh nearby on that southern slope going for a distance build for this upper plateau. We have RNA as well on the upper plateaus, and I guess he is the player to watch for the upper plateaus because he has 3 of the 4 of them, at least his units, at least the major ones, under his control or partially under his control. We do see units engaging here in the east between Han Solo and the Ruby Red player of Betagy. Betagy wanting to deny the distance build, and we even have another comms units of Cybran, just one of them, but just to help assist with Team 2's conquering of the upper plateau. Another facility coming underway. We have a couple of Aurora being vastly outnumbered by Mantis, and even some Medusa coming in here to assist. We have a Mech Marine gonna die off there, and unfortunately the Mech Marines are not going to be enough to hold off this Mantis. They will do a lot for the war of attrition. Eventually those Mantis will die off to those Mech Marines. Well, one facility is already severely wounded. Another one has taken a decent amount of hit point damage. We see 2 gun upgrades started pretty close to one another. This one here for Bo is almost finished off. This one's about half finished off here for Cybran. They are both UEF, so they know each other's strengths and weaknesses. We do see the comm of Wuka very far forward, fighting off against 1 comm so far. 2 of the other comms here for Team 1 out of position. Betagy focused more on some factories. You probably should just assign that engineer to go for that factory so he can help focus the middle. Wuka does have a gun upgrade on that commander, so he's trying to be very aggressive for his team and secure the middle of the map. It is kind of a very interesting situation to be in, because even if you secure this middle alleyway, You might have units up here on the upper plateau to the south and to the north with some artillery, and that will just hurt a lot with artillery constantly being thrown into the middle, which is why Team 2's Kabanov is pushing so much in that, at least the southern plateau, to at least prevent one of the two sides from being bombarded. But we have two comms versus one here. Buttergy coming in to assist, but Cringe is not severely wounded, but decently wounded. We have our Hazer trying to do his best to ward off that gun comm. But again, none of these commanders have any sort of gun upgrade, so that will give Wuka an advantage. And now Joker's going to come up with his gun upgrade. And essentially, it's going to be 2v3 comms, but two of the side with two comms has guns, which that's kind of it's not looking good for either team. Essentially, we have, of course, Mantis and other units coming out here from Team 2. Kabanov should probably join the fight. Does look like he will move into assist, and this is where most of the action is happening so far. Again, it's plasma being thrown into one another's faces, and with the advantage of the range upgrade for these two commanders, they're able to severely push back Team 1. And look at this, Betagy down to 3,000 hit points. We have Cringe down at 6,000, and our Hazer at 1,100 essentially, 11,000 essentially unwounded or undamaged. And this is given a huge advantage to Team 2. They went for gun early, and it worked. They went very aggressive, and it's working. Unfortunately, the further in they go to Team 1's territory, the longer it takes to get back. That's definitely something they have to watch out for. Team 1 is probably going for T3 here pretty soon. We have some Voltus being built here by the air player of Red. And in the southeast, we don't have any T2 air facility. Very interesting. I've seen a couple games like that where one team doesn't even go for air for a while, which will give Team 1 the advantage. I would not be surprised to see some T3 strap bombers, but we have two air players. We have one for Adonai and one for Red, which means two, possibly three, another one, out here from Air Hazer. So three possible air players here. Going to give them a huge advantage in that air domain. A lot of gunships being produced. We can see those Voltus and then those Stingers. And we even, it's just engineers for now, so it must have just been completed recently. But we can see Wuka, again, pushing very, very far forward. And we have his teammate of Joker trying to clean up these frontline factories and mexes. And we have now seen Kabanov completely conquering the middle plateau. We can see in the south, we haven't seen anything really much from Zelby. He's trying to ward off the incoming comm of Adonai. Adonai's just sitting in the water for now. Adonai pretty much just hanging out on his plateaus, just hanging out. He lost one of them, so he's probably upset about that. We see some T2 gunships in the form of these Stingers going after Wuka, and because he went very far forward, we have bombers inbound as well. He will die off, unfortunately. He was very aggressive, which worked out for a little bit, but that didn't work out for the long term, and he will now die for his lack of vision, and is now a 6v5 in favor of Team 1, or the Northern Team, as I call it sometimes. Usually I say Team 1, but sometimes I say Northern Team. But you see Cringe pushing forward now that Joker is all alone. He's already at 1-star veterancy. He'll get to 2 here pretty soon. Team 1 bombers over the top, forcing Joker back. He does have 16 points, hit points, region a second. We do have one AA gun nearby, a mobile one, Sky Slammer, but against a comm, that's not really going to do a whole lot, unfortunately, here for Team 2. And now Kabanov needs to move in and assist. We do see the base of, who is that, Wuka, being transferred over to Zelbing. And he's probably going to maybe give it to Kabanov. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know who to give it. I probably would give it to Kabanov so he can focus on the southern side, talking about Zelby. But it does look like Team 1 is starting to fight back in the plateau section of the map. More facilities are being planned. We have a couple of Destiny AA guns. Actually, this one is called Destiny. They're not Destiny AA guns. They're called Thistles. But this one's called Destiny because it has a veterancy on it, which is something I learned a couple weeks ago from some people, that they use the naming mod for, oh, this unit has veterancy, I'm going to name it so I can keep track of it a lot easier. Which is kind of nice, but then if a lot of units get veterancy, then it's just kind of gets bogged down. T1 Volt is very useful. Very weak, unfortunately, and just T1 AA guns able to force back one of those gunships back. Stingers not really super useful in most of the phases of the game, but very early on they are. I'm not a huge fan of Stingers. They're not great. I take Volthus. I take No, I don't know if I take the Aeon version, the Spectres. I don't know if I take those. But I would take the Voltus, and I would definitely take the T2 Cybran ones. I forget what they're called. But Stingers, showing their worth here in this game. The T2 gunship here out from the UEF. Definitely pulled its weight here, at least in this game. And in the East, we haven't talked a lot about it in the East. It's a 2v1 scenario here. Han Solo is shooting at Bo, or at least his forces in general, and Cybran coming in to assist as well. And they've done a decent job. A wall section has been being built. It will not prevent the incursion from the purple players on Team 2. T2 pillars and some triads now trying to stave off the incoming incursion from those players. We do have a nice little parashield coming in to shield that up. Bo is severely wounded. Does have a veterancy though. So 16 hit points a regen on that. We do have some AA guns being built in the rear to cover the escape for Cybran's comm. We do see some Mongeese as well. They have longer range, but they are severely weak. Only 650 hit points on those chassis. We do see a group of units trying to make a play for a run-by opportunity, but there is one Stinger nearby for our Hazer, and it's actually going to retreat. Definitely missed opportunity there. We even see a nice little Janus as well. These units should be thrown over here to help assist with defenses. We have pillars and other T1 strikers coming in to intercept those units. They are strikers as well, so there's no advantage or disadvantage. It's just the same, just about numbers. T1 bombers are not going to be enough to get into this, especially with a T2 AA flak. Artillery as well. 1 minute, says Zelby. Don't know what he's talking about in terms of that. T3 maybe is what he's talking about. But he has T3 air. He got that up very, very quickly. He does have 2 base eco, which means he can pump out a lot of stuff very, very quickly. And the comm of RNA, sorry, not comm of RNA, the comm of red, see, I knew I'd confuse him at some point, is on that upper plateau with his forces trying to push back Kavanaugh off. Void is going to be thrown off of that position here pretty shortly. A couple of T2 blazers going to try to stop him. But where's the comm of RNA? Oh, he's running back into the pond up there in the northwest. And the comm of Joker still pushing forward. There's not a lot of units here for Team 1's Hazer. And so Joker will be able to clean sweep this very easily, get at least another veterancy under his belt to get 3 stars. That's a lot. That's 30% additional hit points. That's a chunk of hit points. Like, well, is it 30? No, yeah, it's 30 because it's 10% each star and then up to 50%. It makes a difference. That 30% can make or break the game. We have a Volthu nearby, but Han Solo's right there. You could go after Han Solo. He took out some T1 Mechs. There he goes. The Volthu has initiated the combat with the comm. The comm is dropping back. It has advanced range and speed, which means it's the Aeon Sniper Commander. There are some T2 Janus and some gunships and some Corsairs inbound, but I don't think the comm of Han Solo will survive this. In the fire and flames, and there he goes. And this is another kill here for Team 2 before 20 minutes in this game. Team 1 at 6 players left. Team 2 at 4 players left. It does look like I would assume Zelby would get control over this. I'm assuming he would probably keep it. Maybe he'd give it to Kavanaugh, because it does look like most of this is just land facilities. And it is Aeon as well, so it'd be easily transfer over with not a difference in tech. We do see, again, a stream of engineers coming to the front line to reclaim here for Kavanaugh. We do have a small contingent of forces and facilities still online. Red is severely, not severe, I keep saying severely wounded, is decently wounded, does have 2-star, and does have gun. So he's not completely, out on his own, but he is very far forward with not a lot of support. So it has to be very cautious. That is the highest rate of play on Team 1. Team 1 does not want to lose him, and now Bedigy has control over the central plateau here, at least the northeastern one. And some T2 artillery here on this ridgeline would do a wonder here for Team 1 in knocking out Cybran from this eastern side of the map. You can even see a clean camera starting to shell this position here for Bo. Bo is, again, trying to rep up his hit points. He's at 56. He has nano. He's able to get that up. Not super quickly, but, better than 16. So I'd take 56 over 16 any day of the week. They do look like a couple of mechs were taken out by some bombers, possibly. I don't know if there was T3 strats at some point. Does look, oh, there are missiles inbound. Excuse me, they are not bombers. There are some missiles. It's one T2 tactical missile launcher has killed 5 structures or units and is at 2,000 mass killed. Definitely paid for itself in that regard. Shield is trying to be built as quickly as it can be. And we have some TMD to protect those other mechs here. But in terms of mass per second, we're looking at Team 1 at 426, while Team 2 is at almost 600, 560 to be exact. And that's partly due to the fact that the mass on Team 2 is being handled by less and less players as time goes on, which means they can devote a more percentage of their mass to upgrades, to facilities, to whatever the case may be, versus having to stretch it between units and upgrades and comm and whatever the case may be, and defenses. So he's able to build up those T3 mexes, T2 ringed mexes very, very, very quickly. So again, it's a catch-22 of, do you kill off the comm and give the mass to somebody else, or do you let the comm stay alive? They still have the APM, but the other, higher ranked player might not get that extra mass that you would be giving him if you killed off that player. So it's a gamble. But Joker is being assaulted by another Stinger, and Jane is pushed. He's going for Nano, and that fire is just going to bake him in. Oh, that napalm is really just searing his eyeballs. We have more Janus inbound. We have ASFs guarding this approach, and ASFs here for Team 2. Going to do another pusher, and that is another kill. We'll stop the upgrade of the Nano, but it doesn't matter. That comm is DED due to that T2 push coming out here for our Hazer. And he has killed another player on Team 2. It is now a 6v3 in favor of Team 1 at 18 minutes in this game. And another comms infrastructure will be giving over to Zelby here at, again, that 18-minute mark. And something should be given over to Kavanaugh at this point. I feel like he deserves at least one base. It's essentially the two 1700s and a 1500 remaining here. That being Cybeltron for Team 2. And Team 1 has, of course, everybody else alive. And that is really going to jack up the ecos here for Team 2. You can see that Zelby at 450 mass a second for his team. He's at 120. It does look like Kavanaugh is really struggling with power right now, so he would be at 122, but he doesn't have a lot of power. So he's got to fix that pretty soon. And an assault coming out from Verdigy on the front line, trying to push back Team 2's forces, but it's T3 versus T2, and if they were Ilshis, I would say they might have a fighting chance, but against those EMP weapons of the Loyalists, those things are not going anywhere. Fortunately, those units do break off, though, so some Loyalists do, actually all the Loyalists focus on the southern section, and these Rhinos will focus on that clean camera down south. We'll take out a Mechs and maybe a TMD, but after that, I think that's about it. Maybe they should just go for that T2 Mechs and call it good. And they are killing off some build power. There's some T3 AA bouncers nearby, but now those Rhinos are just going to be pummeled to death by those Loyalists here. Loyalists are fine. They're not the best unit, but when you need something fast, when you need something mobile, and you can redirect missiles, I mean, that's definitely what I would go with. We have some bricks following them up. That amount of bricks versus that amount of Loyalists, I feel like the Loyalists would win that fight, essentially because 3,000 hit points on, I'd say, excuse me, that's a regular, let's see, let me try to find, yeah, 3,000 hit points regularly versus 7,500. So essentially for every two of these, one of these is equivalent. And those bricks are keep pushing forward. T1 spam out here from our Hazer trying to just secure this position for now. We're going to see a lot of ASFs built up now that Team 2 has a player that's over 500 mass. And to give that in comparison, Team 1, their highest rated player, for example, is at 148. And we have Kavanaugh at similar eco as well for Team 2. So Team 1 has a severe disadvantage just due to the fact that Team 2's mass is being controlled mainly by one player. And now we have those bricks trying to get through. They are taking out some of those Loyalists, of course. Whenever they die, they release an EMP weapon, and the bricks stop for a second, and which means it gives the Loyalists a little bit of time to chew through another one without much issue, but they do kill off that last brick. Like I said, in terms of that advantage, in terms of numbers, I would give it to Team 2, and I was correct. But Team 1 units versus those bricks, definitely not the bet that I would take any day of the week. Missiles trying to go after these TMD over here. We have the Common Cybeltron trying to handle this upper plateau section against Team 1 with some clean hammers, but not with those missiles nearby. Not going to do a whole lot. And a skyhook maneuver, but a hook maneuver out here from Team 1's green player of Bo comes in and goes for this production facility. There's Team 1 PD that has been here for a while, but pillars come in and just wreck the whole of this base. Once the PD are gone, there's nothing to defend. The Calm is going to be out on his own. He has shield and gun and nano and not T2, but 2 star veterans. He'll probably get to 3 after he kills off a couple of pillars. But the pillars are going to keep going. They're not going to stop. Another line of T1 PD is being spammed up. Some of the pillars are dying off, though. The Triad is still firing. And I don't know, maybe I probably would have kept it there, but he probably wants to go for the more important mass points in the main base here against Cybran, which in terms of that, I don't blame him in that regard. Bricks are now being funneled out of that base here for Team 2 Zelby and just shoving it in front of Team 1's face. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win at 22 minutes in this game. Team 1 has all players remaining, 6 players to be exact. Team 2 has 3 players left. Half of their teammates are gone. Team 2 is ahead in the mass game. Oh, no, Team 1 is jumping ahead a little bit, but they have been ahead of the mass game for a while with Zelby at 540 mass per second. That's a ton of mass, and he has just built an experimental, so take that into consideration. Team 1 controls 55% or so. I'd say 55%. Team 2 controls about 45% of the map. We do have a run by here from Team 1's Red. And of course, if you haven't done so already, would you kindly hit that sub button, hit the like button, hit the share button, share it with anyone and everyone who you think be interested in strategy games or, of course, FAF, because I love Forge Alliance Forever. I want this game to get bigger and bigger. And of course, that is one of the reasons why I have these daily casts to promote the game to anyone and everyone who will listen. Let's go ahead and get back to it with the, let's see, what should we focus on now? We do see the comm of Red still on this upper plateau, and at 23 minutes in this game, kind of not the best idea. You can only get off a plateau with a transport. He can't just jump. That'd be an interesting feature in if they include it in Sanctuary for comms to jump. It'd be very interesting. You know, well, maybe not jump up essentially, but just at least like, oh, I'm on upper plateau, I'm going to jump down and take maybe some hit point damage or something. He does have a transport nearby to get himself out. There are a a squadron or so of T3 ASFs here for himself, but there's a horde. There is an absolute 60 ASFs a second, 60 ASFs for Team 2's air player of Zelby here at 24 minutes. Macom is like, I am out of here, and so essentially he's jumping with air quotes with his commander. He's now on the lower section. That's definitely the better situation to be, especially with the sniper bots coming in. Of course, those long-range Spirit Strikers. He could build his own T3 sniper bots, but he doesn't have a lot of T3 over here. He has none of them, actually. He could transport them up, but he also has to deal with some annoying little loyalists running around. There are a couple of T2 Nothers nearby that are trying to take him out, but the loyalists just being super twitchy and just constantly zigging and zagging back and forth, trying to avoid that incoming fire. More gunships should be reused. The Volters would be a lot better here for Team 1 than those Nothers. I mean, Nothers are good, but not when they hit friendly structures. Definitely not the situation you want to be in that regard. Another T2 Mechs is gone. A bunch of engineers are killed off. That's definitely something to hurt. And a T3 broadsword on station here for Team 1's air player of RNA. And that will definitely assist with dealing with this loyalist very, very quickly. He's going after mass storages. And there he goes. They look like a couple of ASIPs tried to come in and kill off that broadsword here for Team 2, but definitely did not get his way. Zelby builds another experimental. And if he built 2 very quickly, he either built a chicken and a monkey or 2 monkeys. And let's see, where did you build those experimentals, sir? There. Oh, no, just scratch that. He built a crab. Skipped the monkey and went straight for the crab. We do have a Colossus online for Team 2 as well. That is a deadly combo with Colossus and crab. One has the range, one has those vacuum arms and the laser face. Thinking of Taser Face for a second from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Such a dumb name, but I think that was the whole joke. We do have, again, fire-based wars between 2 UEF players, but it does look like more missiles are definitely not how Team 1's Bo is going to win that fight. He needs more, tactile artillery. He needs those T2 clink hammers. Team 2 has a couple of them, which is better than none. but I think he needs double or triple that at least to break through the shields. The shields regen fast enough, and he also had Team 1 has some couple of parashields as well. But those bricks are really pushing into Team 1's territory. Of course, this is where Wuka died off. He pushed too far north, and he died off. Oh, there was a monkey for Team 2, and it died. So that's probably what it was. I was like, I swear that Zelby built another experimental. But yeah, that monkey died off very far forward. There are some Percies coming in, and those Percies will definitely assist this brick wall for Team 1 in defense. Of course, Team 2 wants to secure the wreck from the monkey to funnel it back into their own eco. And unfortunately here, there is enough bricks to really say, I don't know if, well, there are more Percies arriving all the time here for Team 1, so probably not. And that brick wall here to the east is being chewed up pretty nicely by that other brick wall. There is a, well, you know, there's that. That's not going to help Team 1's defenses, and that is a Colossus inbound Team 1. I don't think they have any sort, they have one chicken. They have one experimental. It is a chicken. And they're building another one in the rear here for red. That looks like it was his. I think he's the only Seraphim player on Team 1, so that would make sense. But that Colossus is going to rip through anything and everything. There should be engineers behind this, going to scoop up that eco. There are engineers given the order to go for it. And that is a horde of them. Something I have noticed with a lot of high-ranking players is you have a line of units, and you have a line of engineers, and you have another line of units, or even more stuff, either T2AA or another Colossus or experimental, whatever the case may be. And now that wreck will be immediately scooped up here by those engineers and deny it here for Team 1. The Colossus is going to win that fight between the chicken. The Colossus trying to dodge the slower firing cannon of that chicken. Is doing a great job, but is missing a decent amount of time with that laser, and unfortunately going to give it a bear hug. Is scooping up a couple of bricks in the interim as well, but the chicken having to move to move around, and now they're dancing. We have dancing experimentals. Dance, monkeys, dance. Dance, monkeys, dance. The Colossus does go down. The chicken stays alive, gets into the yellow. We'll take some hit point damage from the Colossus, essentially slamming on top of him. We'll drop back into the red. But it was mostly just a distraction. I feel like that's more of a mass dump than anything else. 13,000 mass on board that Colossus wreck. A lot of mass to just leave on your opponent's doorstep. We see some restores and some broadswords. Ooh, that's a deadly combo. The best unit to use against ground units. Best gunship to use against ground units, and the best gunship to use against air units. You know, having a nice mutual partnership there. Definitely something to watch out for. That is super, super deadly. Seraphim do not have access to T3 gunships, but I mean the Voltus are pretty good. Like the T2 Voltus, I feel like I wouldn't say it's T2.5, but I don't know. I think they're pretty cheap. They're probably about the same price as a Strike. We're thinking in terms of mass. Energy is not really that much of a concern unless you're spending, 10, 30, 40. 50,000 power a second, then it's a concern. But most of the time, in terms of cost, I really only talk about mass. We already have engineers on the front line scooping up that reclaim as quickly as they can. We have some more Titans trying to be hurriedly thrown at the front line to defend. We have more bricks as well, but that crab is just going to sit on top of his dead brother's wreck and say, he is mine. I'm going to take him home. Go away. And we see even more Percies coming in for Team 2. Zelby being the main force to keep pushing against Team 1. And we have Kavanaugh being a support role. He's grabbed the upper plateau once again and is now shelling the lower sections of the map with the T3 mobile artillery of the Serenities. And that is going to be very devastating here for Cringe. He won't have that frontline facility. And we have some gunships coming in for this upper plateau section as well. Again, we have T3 AA gunships assisting the T3 heavy gunship, the broadsword, and the restorer. T2 bangers running around going after those Janus. Janus trying to burn those bangers alive. Oh, I guess they're not technically alive because they're robots slash mechs slash unmanned enemy or unmanned warships slash whatever they're called. They're unmanned. There's no one in them. They're controlled by the commander. Of course, we have some T3 Ravagers been spammed up very quickly here. For defensive, going to chew through that hit points very, very quickly. Of course, the crab can't really dodge because he's big and he's slow. And did I mention that he's big? So he is going to just go straight for those Ravagers. Will kill 5 of them in a couple of shots and kill the rest of them off pretty quickly. This front line is being chewed up. This chicken that is severely wounded will come in and assist. We'll go after the oh, no, we'll not go after the Perseus. That would probably have been a better bet. We'll try to go after the chicken. That ball of fire will get into that. Sorry, ball of plasma, not fire. Well, fire and plasma, almost kind of the same thing. That Megalith will eventually be chewed up by T3 Titans, and a second chicken is nearby. The Ion Storm is close enough to go after some of those Perseus, so it could have been a little bit more south, but you can only do so much here, of course. I'm not the player. I am the caster, so I can't change where the units are standing. I just can witness the horrors happen in front of me. And Bettergy has lost essentially his entire base, which has cued to him that he needs to go for laser. And he started that upgrade as we speak. He needs more power to do so because he's really, really low on energy. Oh no, he has energy. He's low on he's low on mass. That's. Let's pause the upgrade. He's just low on mass. It's like maybe it's usually just power. In this case, it's energy. We have Team 2's air player of Zelby going for bugs. He has 2 of them queued up. 1 of them almost done. Do we have any artillery or nukes? We have satellites coming online and an artillery. So Team 2 at 31 minutes, which is realistically where you should think about how to end the game, are going for long range, and bugs. So Team 2 will be aware of that with the flybys outbound from Team 1's air players. We have 2 comms. The 2 main players are actually in the water, and we have a teleporter going upgrade and gun. Ooh, we have Red going for a teleport gun comm of the Seraphim variety. You don't see this very often. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to grab him. And where are you going? You're going for the air grid. Very interesting. He's going to go in between 2 T2 P-gens, which is not something I would recommend because when you kill those off, they explode and they hurt a lot. But we will just watch him as he teleports in, and we'll transfer back over to full vision. Let's see. There he goes. He is going. He is here. And he's going after the comm directly. That's what it was. So going after Zelby, trying to chase him down. Zelby dropping into the yellow, and it's keep on going. Red is dropping into the yellow as well, but he is gone. Red assassinates the comm of Zelby, and it's now a 6v2 in favor of Team 1. And will Red get out of the transfer of control of everything? Will be given over to Kavanaugh, the last remaining high-rated player on Team, or higher-rated player on Team 2. And it does look like, oh, Red, there was a T3 P-Gen that was almost killed off. Oh, he's going to go for this one because the P-Gens, oh, he will not get the mass fabs, but he does make it out. He teleports over here anyways, and he is dead. Would have just teleported away. I feel like that's kind of a waste. Team 1 lost their first player at 33 minutes in this game. Now it's a 5v2 in favor of Team 1 as, still. Team 1 has been in the driver's seat in terms of comms left alive for the entire game. I don't count the beginning because it's just both teams have all their players alive, so it's kind of a moot point. But does the Ion Storm kill off the crab? Ion Storm activates it. The crab does get out of range. There is a T3 broadsword nearby. Chewing through those hit points, 100 hit points a second being diminished on board that Megalith. Only needs about 60 more, 65, 67 shots. That does look like that broadsword will be shooed away by the T2AA nearby. And I feel like Red should have just teleported away. I do get the whole concept of going after the comm, but you were already severely wounded. Probably not the best idea. The Emissary is not finished. He's not going to build. You're not going to completely finish it off just yet. He would have loved to get this mass fab grid. I mean, no, that's 32 mass a second. He would have killed off, so it would have been nice. It would have killed off. Would have killed off the SMD though. That's definitely a missed opportunity. There's an SMD up here, but killing off the backup one is also nice as well. We have those broadswords on the front lines going after that Megalith. Once again, the AA flak is pretty strong, but these are T3 gunships, so it will take a couple of seconds to chew through all those hit points. They have 6,000 on board. And there goes that Megalith dead to T3 broadswords. Only 2 of them. You will kill several T3 mexes with it, says Joker. Well, I don't know what are they talking about? What are they? Assemble several T2 tanks into T2 transport and send them up the mountain. You'll kill off a couple of T3 mexes. Up on the map. Oh, over here? I think he means over here. I mean, that is an idea, but we have some gunships inbound and some bricks going northwest. Oh, maybe he means up here as well. Maybe that's what he means. I don't know. We have some sorry, these are not Destinies and Infinity and Neo and Destiny and Void. These are Serenities. What's interesting is that this one has veterancy, this one isn't named, this one has veterancy, this one is named. A lot of them do have veterancy, so maybe it's just the amount of name. I don't know. I don't know how that whole naming mod works. I don't use naming mods. I don't know how they all work. But we do have the laser from the sky, also known as the new SMD in this game. You know what video I'm referencing. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, you should check out that video with a picture of a YOLO shooting into a laser, the satellite. It was very interesting to watch. Very, very different kind of game. But Cringe is defeated by Kavanaugh. What? Oh, looks like Cringe teleported in. Tried to go after Kavanaugh's comm. I didn't know he was building laser, but doesn't look like he really got anywhere with it. The Team 2 will kill off another player for Team 1. Both of the players on Team 1 have died to teleportation, whether it's due to, them blowing stuff up and then teleporting in and then dying to PD or other defenses, or just them teleporting in when they shouldn't have and dying off anyways. But we have a T3 artillery emissary online here for Team 2. Going to start shelling the main base. They're targeting the SMD, which usually begs the question that they have a nuke somewhere, or somebody's going to build a nuke, or somebody will build a nuke, or somebody is thinking about building a nuke, and that's another emissary, so that's not a nuke. Where is my little nuke symbol icon? There's another satellite. That is a lot of Team 1 engineers. That's a lot of Team 1 engineers. And it's going up pretty quickly. It's about a couple hundred hit points a second. There's a decent... And another one down here at the same time. I mean, with 900 mass a second here for Kavanaugh, he needs to spend it. And is he spending all of it? Yes, he is, and then some. I don't know. I mean, taking out SMD are good, of course, because that means your opponent can't defend nuclear strikes. But if you don't have any nukes to fire, then that's kind of, not pointless, but kind of pointless. We have T2 Mongeese being transported in by some Continentals, but a crab goes, no, go away. Badaji comes in to assist. Oh, that's why I didn't notice Cringe Man. It was because I thought Badaji was going to teleport in with that laser. But a bug will come inbound to go after that TMD and just crash. Sorry, TMD. SMD will crash almost on top of it. We'll kill off a couple of shield emitters, though. We do have a T3 artillery, the Hovatham, not the Hathum, the battleship. Get those names switched all the time. The Hovatham is almost finished off for Team 1. Team 1 will have a way to fight back in terms of T3 artillery. But with 2 additional satellites online almost at the same time, Team 2 was looking very poised to win this game. And essentially, because now Team 1 is severely lacking in the map control department, they are starting to fight back with a couple of these chickens. And the chickens, I am tall enough to ride the ride, tall enough to shoot the plateau, tall enough to ride the red, and just tall enough. Look at these little chickens hanging out. We are seeing, of course, there is some sort of slowdown here in terms of units on the mid, which may have a big opening for Team 1 if they decide to use it. It does look like Team 2 has pushed back UEF player of a bow just a little bit, and now he's fallen back to his main base, or at least his main production base. We have a lot of T2 artillery back here, and another line of T2 artillery going to be built. So again, layered defenses, love to see it. Of course, that's partly due to the fact that we have Cybotron building this here, and then moving forward, and then building this here. But still, layered defenses are always a good idea because you got to fall back to something. If you fall back to nothing, then you'll die. We have some T3 missile launches, those spearheads, able to pummel out a heck of a lot of damage very quickly. They fire 4 missiles per barrage, and now we have artillery just chasing, or just, scooting by one another. You can see them. I don't think I've ever seen 2 artillery hit one another. I think I've seen at least 2 nukes hit each other one time. I think I've seen that. I feel like I've seen that at least once. Make a drop to the lower mountain now and build the T4 artillery to break through the enemy, says Joker. I do love the support out from Joker trying to help his teammates and say, hey, you should do this, and hey, there's this opportunity, and hey, this, that, and the other thing. We do have a squadron or two of broadswords pushing forward with a ton of ASF support. I keep saying AA or ASF. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it starts with A, or the case may be, but we do have a Fat Boy and a Crab pushing forward. The artillery, of course, wanting to target the Fat Boy. That's the one that I would go after. But a ton of shields trying to protect those experimentals. Not going to do a whole lot for the chicken, because the Crab, because it's a little bit taller than the shields, but at least we'll do a decent job for that Fat Boy. We do have a Fat Boy here for Team 2 Cybran as well, so Team 1 still has the advantage in terms of experimentals and firepower, but they do have something to fight back in terms of Team 2's defenses. We do have comparable ASFs between both teams. And ASFs are going to sit here. Oh, there's an opportunity for those gunships. Right there, Team 2, they get pinged here by Team 1. Most of them are severely wounded, though, and they will be easily eaten up. I don't know why he threw away those gunships. And the ASF fight will come. Oh, will it commence? Will it commence? No, it will not. I feel like Team 1 would have won that fight. 134 versus Kabanov's 130. So it would have been very close, obviously. We do have some additional ASFs in the east for Cybran as well. A lot of Russian in this game. I don't speak it. I don't read it. I can hear it, but I can't speak it or read it or write it. So apologies to those that want to know what's going on in chat. I have no idea unless it's in English. I read a little bit of Spanish, and that's about it. So, yeah, that's all I got. And ASF, they're chewing them apart bit by bit, and the main ASF force will engage. Will Cybran's forces move in and assist? Yes, they will. We'll give a couple dozen or so more ASFs to the number, but it does look like Team 1 will make out like a bandit and take out a ton of those ASFs here for Team 2 in total. Now those ASFs for Cybran, probably you're thinking they should have just stayed where they were. There is a couple of SAM sites, T3 AA Myrmidons coming in to assist, and now they're going to immediately kill off that bug and say no. No, GG, says Zelby. Not GG yet. We have 2 artillery, third one coming online. There is 3 satellites online in the south, so that's a lot of firepower. Team 2 is not out of this game just as is yet. Team 1 has air dominance, but that's only for the time being. We have another experimental fight in the middle. Chicken running away. Chicken going to come in and assist once again. It does look like the laser for that experimental wants to go for this another chicken. They're going to dance once again. Look at this. They're dancing. And once again, the Colossus just can't dance with the chicken. And so therefore it will be taken out. But the advantage lies with Team 1 for, of course, the time being. A lot of T3 AA sites are being built as quickly as they can be, but the chickens need to move in with the advantage that they have. There's a couple of T1 PD. I feel like if they're able to skirt this south, there's another Colossus online. All of the gunships are going after the artillery, the plateau support. For these, the upper plateau, Team 2 still holds it for the entire game. One gunship going forward isn't going to do a whole lot. And it does look like all those broadswords were defeated. The chicken for Team 1 has been defeated. A lot of those wall sections were killed off. The Iron Storm is it going to be enough? Colossus gets a rank in veterancy just before it got hit with that slow gun, but then it did get hit and will drop back into the red. There's a lot of T2 Oblivion spam now being built, and some of those up here, as well as a Harbinger going to push back Team 1's land force. The land force was not enough. ASF fight trying to lock out the air. We have some gunships over the top as well, trying to go after some mass assassination or some of these satellites. But still, more and more T3 AA going to be spammed up as much as they can be. We do have an assault in the north with that Fat Boy. Looks like the Crab was taken out eventually, but that's a lot of defenses to chew through. Another Fat Boy almost online. Fat Boy trying to shell those Perseus. But once Team 2 finishes off that Fat Boy, that is essentially going to be it for Team 1's aggressiveness on that eastern side. Artillery has wrecked the air grid here for Team 1. And obviously, artillery and satellites. 2 things. Well, technically five things, but 2 different types of things. We have just not really a whole lot going for Team 1. Oh no, he's over here. I'm just trying to make sure we keep track of the comm. He has Cloaking standing next to P-Gems. Probably not the best idea to stand, especially on the front line like that. Upgrading the T2 to go for transport. Very interesting what he's going to do with those. Shield's trying to be spammed up, but Team 1 just doesn't have the power. RNA does not... Well, he's starting to get power back. They are charging as we speak, so they'll be able to protect a decent amount. He does have enough XX power to support all of them, but he's lost a lot of his infrastructure here. Team 1, in terms of mass per second, at 1.3. Team 2 at 1.2. Team 2 isn't really expanding in the mass department, more expanding in the offensive nature standpoint. Of course, those 3 satellites and 3 artillery almost done. With the 3rd artillery, that is not going to be fun here for Team 1. That's a lot of firepower, a lot of nonsense. We have the Fat Boy in the east for Team 2. Again, Team 1's Fat Boy did retreat off the front lines. His shield was knocked out, but he is at 3 stars, so he's able to regen pretty quickly. 95 hit points a second is pretty good. A lot of spam, a lot of T3 units coming in to support that Fat Boy. Would love to see the Fat Boy use its actual factory secondary and support that. But a lot of artillery going straight for the comm. And that T3 P-Gen looking very, very, very deadly for Team 1. If an artillery strikes here, those defenses are down. They're going to explode very, very easily. More artillery is raining in as we speak. They aren't firing as fast as they normally would, because this one is fully surrounded by P-Gen Nuker, because it has a rank emergency. 3 P-Gens for this one, 2 for this one, a 3rd one being built. So, of course, if you get the T3 P-Gens, adjacency bonus, it fires a lot quicker. The artillery for Team 1 is knocked out by satellites and our enemy, not enemy, but Team 2 artillery. Every time I say Team 2, I always think of T2, and then my brain just goes, no, that's not what you meant to say. More P-Gens being spammed up. A lot of satellites just knocking out all those shield emitters. Team 1 cannot keep shields online. Even the Seraphim variety, if there's no energy, there's no power. There's no power, there's no shield. There's no shield, the shield emitter is not protected. Shield emitter is not protected, the laser could just go burr and kill it. But with 3 satellites, 3 artillery, it's not looking like Team 1 is going to be able to come back from this, at least for a little bit. So we're going to speed it up just a little bit. Let's see how this game progresses. It does go over a little bit over an hour. So in terms of the recording, we're at 52, 51, about 50 minutes or so. So we have about 25 or so minutes left in the game. So it's not looking good for Team 1. If you're rooting for Team 1, it's not going good. They were doing not super great early on in terms of map control. They did really well later on. T2 Janus running around the map had a little freeze there for a second, and then it fixed itself. Don't know what that problem was about. I don't know if it was me or the replay or whatever it was, but it was a simple just, and it's fine. We have T3 Ravagers being, put around all the map. The Galactic Colossus should not just sit and just take fire for no apparent reason. Gunships trying to be used for defenses. We have ASFs just sitting there. I don't know what's going on with Kavanaugh. He's not microing his forces. Is that a... Oh, there they go. He's distracted probably somewhere else. But that is a huge, huge amount of infrastructure here for Team 2. All mostly under shield coverage. I don't like how the Aeon shield looks. I think it's not great looking. It's not ugly. It's just I prefer the very clean see-through. I mean, a little shade of blue isn't too bad for the UEF and I think the Cybran. The blue is, it's more purple, but kind of heavy. The Seraphim does have the prettiest shield, and the Aeon definitely has the ugliest shield because it's just dark, and it's really hard, especially when you're taking a screenshot. It just doesn't look as clear as if I were to take it through, of course, a Seraphim shielding. We did see down south the comm of Strategy is down south. We're going to slow it down a little bit. Looks like he was dropped off. One satellite is down. Another one was being built. How did we... Was it a transport? Did he walk over here? Are you telling me this man... I mean, there's no Omni. Maybe he just walked over here. Team 2, do they notice this? Another satellite going down. Shields coming back online. Another satellite will fall. That was a 4th satellite that was built. There's a 5th one under construction. Betagy, are you even being spotted? Actually, that's Team 2. Does Team 2 notice? No, it's just a laser and another satellite. There were so many satellites being built by Team 2. They're being chewed up as we speak. Move Fatboy from base. Pings go down. Don't know what that's going on. There's actually a satellite in Team 2 Cybeltron's base. And that is a lot of stuff. Good job on Beregi with that cloaking comm. We do see some pings coming out from Team 2. It's probably Cybeltron or somebody else noticing this. They say, hey, there's a laser guy running around. You should probably deal with this. We have some Janus over the top. They do see that comm. And we do have some T1 Scorchers inbound. They do lose sight of him for a second. Of course, they're trying to rain hellfire from the sky, napalm and all that. The air grid is going down. Beregi, you mad lad with the cloaking. Usually I just see the teleporter and telemazor, but he's going in with just himself and cloaking. Go for this kill off the mass fabs. That'd be great. The entire base is gone here in the south. A lot of mass killed. Actually, we'll switch over to Beregi. Nope, that's not what I want. That's what I want. 203,000 203. Now 206 mass killed. 1,000 mass killed off. And he is still alive. 11,000 hit points. 5-star veterancy. This mad lad of a man. 1,500 rating. He wanted to end it, at least in his game, with a bang. And he ended it with a bang. He will die, of course, but takes a lot of ASF and other units with him. And that was a definite good move here by Beregi. More than I've seen most teleporting. We did see the one out here from, who was that? From Red. He should have teleported back, but he went for this. But he took out a whole lot of mass. Again, 200,000+ mass killed by one teleporting comm. Actually, I don't even know if he would teleport it. He might have just walked. Does Team 2? Team 2 doesn't even have Omni. Oh, they have T2 right here. I don't see T3 Omni anywhere. And that's probably why he was able to get around, because they couldn't see him, because cloaking obviously obscures your vision, and radar obscures the, well, radar. But Omni sees everything. So if there wasn't an Omni in the main base, they couldn't have seen him. And a bunch of Pigeons are being built. It does look like Kamenov, well, is very low on power. It looks like he's getting some assistance from his teammate, from some overflow. But there is a force inbound here for Team 1. Now, if you thought Team 1 was out of this game, well, I mean, he didn't take out any of the artillery, but he took out a ton of those satellites. Another one was being built. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 satellites were killed off. Essentially, that is a ton of firepower just gone. More artillery being built. Echo, Golf, Nuker. Why have one when you can have 8? There is still one satellite on for Team 1 and 2 Fat Boys in the main base here. Another Fat Boy coming into range. That Fat Boy is immediately killed off by the dual Fat Boy support. We have an emissary, not emissary, we have a Hubatham online here for Team 1 once again. Due to this, the craziness that was happening here, Team 2 was completely distracted. They lost all their satellites. They lost all of the pressure coming off from those satellites against the shield emitters for Team 1. So this base can be shielded up pretty nice and tight. A lot more shields being built. A lot more everywhere. Of course, it's now a 3v2. Still in favor of Team 1 at 52 minutes in this game. Fat Boy still pushing forward. Does get killed off as well. It does look like the defenses for Team 2 Cybeltron are enough to really hold off Team 1's advance. A couple of strap bombers back here. Not enough to kill a Fat Boy. Need, I think, triple that, I think. No, I think it's double that. I think it's 6. Maybe it's 7 strap bombers to kill off a Fat Boy. But we have more shields being assisted and need to be built. This one popped off. Popped back out very, very close. But, of course, the shot was kind of wide. Artillery ran in and kills off a couple of mass storages as well. More Pigeons being built. All this mass has been scooped up. They're being funneled into new satellites. This one has finished off. The second one will finish off here pretty shortly. So satellites still raining across the map. I don't know where Team 2's satellite is. Oh, it looks like they built it. No, it looks like they lost it, so they're going to rebuild it. I was like, I swear I saw one earlier. But now this game really has turned. I cannot say that line from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Turn, flip, put upside down, something like that. Looks like there's a disruptor going to be planned here in the east for Team 1 as well. So now it's, I mean, it's not an even game. Team 2 still leads the game in terms of artillery. We have 1, 2, 3 essentially. 4 artillery going to come online. Shields are starting to fail around Nuker, the emissary here, the first one that was built. But Team 1 does have a way to come back in this game. If they can have another big play like this, that would definitely bring them back in the game. They're still on the back foot, but there is a chance for them. We do have the Fat Boys in the east with a Colossus escort pushing back Team 1 in the northeast. There's not a lot of infrastructure really to keep these Fat Boys at bay, so they're going to have to be forced back. Some commented, Bettergy made a comment something about, hey, put something here. 2, something, shield, says Joker. You got to shield that additional air grid. Which, I mean, the artillery's not focused on this. It's focused on this. This is the main threat. A 5th and a 6th. Because why just have 1? Why just have 1? You know, why just have 1 when you can have 8? Why just have 1? But we have artillery raining in across the map constantly here for both teams. It does, again, Team 2 is in the driver's seat in terms of that amount of artillery, but so many shields are being built. Team 1 does need to watch out for that, because if they don't have enough power to support those shields, everything will collapse. But more and more shields are being built all the time, trying to stave off the amount of lasers coming out from the sky, the amount of artillery coming out from the sky. You can see the shields just collapsing and coming back on and collapsing and coming back on. You know, some people have the ability to micro these shields so they can either turn stuff on, turn stuff back on. I think you can assign groups, so you can say like these 4, like one, like every other one is group 1 and every other one is group 2, so you can turn them on and off when they start to fail. I think you can do that. I'm assuming you can do that. I'm assuming you can make groups in this game. I feel like most RTSs have an ability to be like, you guys are group 1 and you guys are group 2. So you can just select the 1 or 2 button. The Colossus moving in the middle as well. Team 2 trying to pump those out to use as essentially just stopgaps for any sort of land inbound. Team 1 is essentially vacated from the southwest corner, and now the western side as well. They've just been hemmed in for a long time. Not able to expand, not able to do much of anything. Strat bombers over the top. It did look like that strat bomber was being lasered by a satellite, though, a Novak satellite. Black the Colossus being like, hey, I'm right here, guys, hey. And the thing get pinged by Team 1. There are some strat bombers inbound. ASFs are asleep on duty, and there go 1, 2. There's a bunch of ASFs that come in for Team 2. Just enough to kill off more than half of those strat bombers, and that is more than enough. That is, oh, that's got to be painful. Team 1 could have defended that a lot better, but just didn't. Well, that's a lot. How many shields does On and A have online? Okay, maybe not all of them. Okay, so he has 35 right here, and then he has an additional 7, 9. So he has, almost close to 50 shields protecting 1 Hovatham, which that's a lot of shielding. That, I wouldn't say that's enough, because I don't think anything will be enough for me in terms of shielding. But you need more artillery. You're not going to be able to punch through, a decent amount of shield, a couple of shields with support, plus all these shields over here with some hive support as well. That can easily be thrown for these shields. I feel like at this point I'm going to speed it back up once again, because it's kind of just not a lot of interesting place. If it wasn't for the fact that I saw a red icon down here on the minimap, I would not have noticed this play. So thank goodness for the minimap being a little bit bigger. And that fire is still raining in, of course, targeting the 1 artillery. I feel like the artillery for Team 2 could be targeting literally anything else and take out literally anything else. This is the only target that they can't get, even with some satellite support. They just can't seem to do it. In the northwest, we do have a nuke online, and it's almost loaded. Team 2 probably should get on that. They could easily take it out with the artillery. They do have SMDs, though. This one down here was taken out, but this one is still online. And this one is online as well. Now more shields are going after this. They do notice the change in that. Of course, they know where this, the shield, but the nuke is. So that's not going to stay online for very much longer, of course. The 1 nuke has been loaded, and at this point, you got to launch it. You got to launch it. You got to launch the nuke or it's wasted. You got to launch the nuke or it's wasted. I know they're trying to build more shields to protect it. Oh, it's gone. That's too bad. There was a nuke loaded. They weren't able to fire it. I mean, there wasn't a lot you could fire it on. This SMD was almost gone, so you could have probably nuked the east had you taken that out. But the defenses are too strong here, and of course that emissary is stopped being built. But that actually won't. Nope, that's going to continue. Never mind. And now we can see another green wave inbound. A lot of T1 Lobo spam with a Fat Boy Force support. We have some Percys and some Titans on the cliff edge trying to assist, but the Percys and those Titans just shooting into the land. Percys are just tall enough to scale some of the cliff. They need to come a little bit closer. And unfortunately, most of the shots are in vain. Artillery now raining in over here to the west. They do notice that's where 2 of the 3 comms are sitting. Oh, I think the water is deep enough for that to not really matter. The Colossus comes out of the water into some T2 Triad mines. The Colossus is going to take a lot of firepower in the back and in the front. We'll take a look out in the east. Fat Boy is lining up as we speak with his forces. Going after the Pigeon. Will he kill off the Pigeon with the crash damage? He probably will. Yep, there he goes. D3 Air Headquarters still online, but it's taken a chunk of its hit points out. The artillery is down. Another disruptor was being built, or one disruptor was being built. That has been canceled by Team 2. We see in the east that attack does still look like it's going to commence. 2 Fat Boys versus 3. Those Fat Boys are going to, fall back into shield coverage, giving them a huge advantage for protection. And Ravagers come in and be able to target that Fat Boy directly. That Fat Boy is going to shoot up a lot. Those look like the Ravagers actually are focusing on the Percys and not the Fat Boys. Also down a little bit so we can watch most of the action and speed it back up. Because I feel like I said at this stage, there's another Colossus that came for the base here for Bo. There's a lot of mass that's been dumped, but now with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artilleries online, and are they going to build that? No, they're not going to build that 6th one. I feel like that's not game, but it's essentially a game. Lobo spam is not going to be enough. You need a lot more Lobo spam than that. But Bo, control Ks, a desync does happen, but of course we can see which way this game was going. It wasn't going to side with Team 1 at any point. We'll just speed it back up. Lasers all around the map here in the north here. This attack does stop in its tracks due to the the departure of Bo, and they will have to retreat, but it's just with, again, 5 artillery. How many satellites? 5 satellites, 6 satellites, another one being built. Team 1 was not going to break through those lines. They really weren't. And there isn't a Cybran comm with a laser on its chest to really do much. Satellites just taking apart the base at this point, going after engineering, drones, going after T3 mechs, going after anything of vital necessity. Which I guess you could argue everything is vital in this game, but depends on what you view as vital. Like a couple of T1 AA guns down here. Yeah, it's nice to have, but they're not vital, at least for that, for the grand scheme of the game. Fat Boys push in the northeast, and I think I'll speed it up actually to probably 4. I think we'll go 4. As the slow march of death does commence, it does look like Team 1 tried to fight back with another strategic missile launcher, but I don't think they're going to keep that one online as well. It's almost loaded once again, though, to their credit. So Team 1 trying to use nukes, but they just don't have the shields to protect them. They don't have the everything. They don't have the SMDs down on Team 2 to really deal with it. But the emissary is just raining a ton of plasma down. The Seraphim shields cannot stay online long enough for the engineers to be like, hey, stop it. We're trying to build the nuke. Stop it. Shields go down. Shields pop back online. Now the satellites will come in and definitely kill off that nuke. Will they get the nuke off? Will they get it off? You got to launch it immediately. And it's gone anyway. So another nuke that was stopped here by Team 2, and I feel like at this point I would have control K'd as well. You could just tell the way the game is going, but to the credit to R, Hazer, and RNA, they are still in this game, still going for it. They don't want to stop. They want to go to the bitter end. And of course, that's why I sped up and as I say that, R, Hazer just control Ks anyways. 1 hour, 8 minutes in this game. Now a 2v1 in favor of Team 2. We have a ton of Fat Boys here in the east. We have the Tsar here going to start launching some depth charges. Depth? Yeah, depth. D-E-P-T-H. charges against that calm. And those hit point. Wait, hold on. Why aren't they launching? Oh no, they're launching. It's just taking a while. I think it's due to the fact that RNA's on a hill, I guess. But everything in his main base is just crashing down. The Tsar will take a lot of fire from those ASFs nearby, but all of them aren't being microed as well. So the shield is actually still online. Emissary fire actually going through the Tsar. That's very interesting. I don't know what's going on. There's a conversation going on in chat about probably why he's not dead yet. Those chargers are launching. At least you can kind of see these. It's kind of hard to see, but I'll use the... You see kind of tiny little yellow dots kind of fly down. Those are the charges. But they're not really doing much. I think they're impacting the ground more, which is why it's not working. But Nuke's going to be launched here. Where's it coming from? Not coming from him, is it? That doesn't make sense. He has shield. I saw the Nuke symbol. I don't know where it went. There's no SMD online, so I don't know what's going on there. And just, again, the slow march from the east to the west. Anything and everything's being thrown at this. Maybe it's a glitch. Maybe RNA's like, I can't be hit under here. That's so weird. Because, no, he did get hit a little bit, but I think that's from the artillery just AoE splashing on him. Very, very interesting there. But the comm's just going to walk out and say, okay, you can't kill me. I should have probably died by now. So I'm going to walk out so you can kill me. A lot of Russian in chat. Of course, I can't read it, but that's probably what they're talking about. He goes, nah, maybe I'll go, maybe I won't go. You gotta come get me. He wants to keep his head just barely above the, barely below the water. It looks like maybe he's moving over here, and he just control K's anyways. Yeah, again, it was probably due to, honestly, it's probably due to the desync. That probably didn't help. But as you saw, Team 2 won that game even at the desync, so that's why I kept going with it. It wasn't like it was a very nail-biter and then it was desynced and then either team could have won. Team 2 definitely won that game. So let me know down in the comments what your favorite moment of the video was. If you would kindly, if you haven't done so already, hit the sub button, hit the like button, hit the comment button, hit all the buttons. Hit the share button, of course. And let's see with MVP. I mean, I don't want to be a little impartial, but I feel like Berterji with that play, I don't know if he was transported over there or he just walked. If the man, if he walked, I definitely missed it, and I'm very disappointed that I missed it. But even if he got transported over there, that move was very, very good. Laser and cloaking, definitely something to keep in mind. I'm going to award MVP to him. I feel like he did a great job. He did get kicked out a while because of the attack on the base earlier on. Could have controlled Cade. He didn't. He decided to stay in the game, and because of that, he had a great, great play. So let me know down in the comments, again, who you think deserves MVP. And again, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, and I will see all of you in the next one.